is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
To return some videotapes. 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 Videotapes.
Welcome back once again to the Yoshi's unplugging things already. Welcome to the Ectoviolence channel.
Hey, welcome to the show tonight. So, we're on the Ectoviolence channel. This is Strange Go Video. And my enunciation was garbage there. I am not drunk, I swear. Strange Glow Video. That's a little bit better. So, we're going to continue on this week with chatting about some of the Final Destination movies. We're going to kind of skim through 3, 4, and 5. Full transparency. I did not watch 5. I didn't get the chance. I watched 3 and 4. Alec watched 3 and 5. He skipped number 4 because he says 4 is the worst. And
The chat's starting off strong tonight.
yeah,
I don't know if you can see that. Am I sharing that with you?
you're not sharing it with me. No, I'm not seeing that.
All right, let me see here. Let's see. Are you seeing it now?
Oh yes. Do you believe in ghosts? God? Nah, I don't believe in God. Don't believe in demon. Don't believe in ghosts. None of that. None of that for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Alec?
Nope. I think out of those,
2, 3 now.
ghosts are the coolest, followed by demons, and then God. If I had to rate them.
Yeah, I became an atheist in like the 7th grade when we learned about world history and ancient religions, and when they went from polytheism to monotheism, and I was just like,
Wait
the
a minute.
fuck? You can just randomly change your shit? I'm like, you can just do that? And at that point, I was like, all right, well, this is a bunch of malarkey. Ghost stories.
There's a bunch of malarkey. That's an interesting take.
I mean, everyone's entitled to their own beliefs.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're going to start off with Final Destination 3, which is
Hell yeah.
my personal favorite out of all of these movies. Although I think 1 and 2 are better, potentially. Or at least 2's more iconic, and 1 is, like, solid because it's more original, like, just on the fact that it's not a sequel.
Yes. I would agree with that. 3 is really good. I had a lot of fun watching this. Now, I will say, after having watched this, I understand why you were so freaked out when the Harry Potter ride broke down on us mid-ride several times when we were out at Universal Studios in L.A.
Well, for one, I was stoned out of my mind, and I was also sick. Like, so I just felt sick on there. I wasn't freaking out because we were going to die or anything. I just, felt sick.
Subliminally, I think that, like, that was taunting you. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but...
Hasn't scared me away from theme parks.
Yeah, but you're not a big roller coaster guy.
No, not at all in general. So
Yeah.
this one in particular is fun though because I'm in that environment, and I would if I was with a group of people and they got on it and it exploded, I would be like, I would feel so justified.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. You'd be like, all right, well, it seems to work
Yeah,
for everybody.
yeah, I win. But let's talk about
The cast of this one
yeah.
doesn't seem to have any like crazy household names, at least not that I'm super familiar with, which I think
What?
works for it. I mean, well, besides Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but Ryan Merriam,
Okay.
what's he in?
First of all, you don't know Ryan Merriam, but that's okay because you're just a little bit older. But Ryan Merriam is in such Disney Channel original movie classics as Smart House and Luck of the Irish. The Ring 2 he was also in, which is not Disney Channel original, but
The Ring of Endless Light. Is that it?
yeah. Halloween Resurrection. Yeah, so he's in, he's just, from my generation, people would know him absolutely from Smart House and The Luck of the Irish. Like, Smart House is one of the best Disney Channel original movies, so they played it all the fucking time. And I'm pretty sure he popped
okay.
up as smaller roles in other movies, but like, my TV generation definitely knows that guy. And obviously Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The biggest things I know her from are this, which would be the first thing I saw her in, and then Death Proof, Black Christmas, Scott Pilgrim, and The Thing remake are the 4 other ones I'd say that I've really seen her in.
Okay. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Did you see that one?
I did not
I
see
like that one. It's pretty good. John Goodman's in it.
Yeah, I know that. I've heard it's decent, but
Yeah, it's good. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think just means it's adjacent, but not actually part of.
it's kind of like an anthology thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's just part of the same sci-fi horror universe. Cloverfield, the first one, I really like, and Super
I think
8,
you'd
which
like-
is Cloverfield adjacent, also. But
Yeah, I think you'd like 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's pretty intense, post-apocalyptic, and kind of in like this underground survival bunker. It's pretty good.
yeah. Then we also have, let me see, where's his name? Chris Lemche, who you might not recognize. It's probably been a while since you've seen it, but he was in Ginger Snaps,
Okay.
and he was also in. I'm just finding out this now to be perfectly transparent, and I haven't seen it, but Existence, which is a Cronenberg movie from 1999.
Okay.
So he's more cult actor, but he's also in an episode of Goosebumps and Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I mean, I watched the first couple of Goosebumps like TV show episodes, but never really followed the series too much.
He's in The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight.
Mm.
And in Erie, Indiana, he was in one episode. I guess that's really the big ones. Let's see. Just as I'm scrolling through these people, it's one of these guys that was in Tucker and Dale.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are in here for like independent stuff, but I don't think the average household viewer is going to recognize a ton of these people necessarily, besides from this flick.
Yeah.
Maybe to your point, some Disney movies, but
Yeah, some of these
Do you
people
really
in some
watch-
random stuff, but
you really watch that many Disney movies?
Disney Channel original movies?
Yeah.
Dude, you don't realize how fucking dope they were. Smart House is like, it stars him and he's a high school kid. And he, basically his school has like this contest for a smart house and he wins it. And then like, he gets to move in there and he moves in there with his sister and his dad. And the smart house basically starts like overstepping its boundaries and like fucking shit up in certain ways because it's basically AI and it's portrayed by what's her face from Married with Children, the mom who's also in Futurama.
Yeah. I was like, Christina.
And then they also did a few really good horror themed ones, and here's the good part, they're all on Disney Plus for the most part.
Okay.
So there's really good one. I did like a top 10 Disney Channel original movies on my channel once, but there was one with a pink Power Ranger in it called like Susie Q.
Okay.
And that was from like 1995, and basically she played a ghost that like died in a prom night accident and like comes back and is like only one dude can see her and she goes to prom with him and shit, you know, type deal. That was pretty cool. I like the supernatural ones. Halloween Town's the biggest, most famous one, probably.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's some good ones though, like surprisingly.
Yeah, I didn't watch most of that shit. So at least you're familiar with it, because I am certainly not.
Yeah, I'm big into that shit. I have a couple of them on VHS and stuff. One called Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century. That's like a $70 tape.
See, when I think of almost made for TV movies like that. I think Blank Check, which is a fucking phenomenal kids movie.
Yeah, but that's not. It wasn't actually made for TV though.
No, I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
And then same thing with the Richie Rich movie. Like
Yeah.
both movies that easily could have been made for TV, but had theatrical releases. So
That's how they marketed these, though. They would call them Disney Channel original movies. Like the only reason I keep saying it is because they kept saying it in the marketing and the commercials. Disney Channel original movie. This coming up
Yeah.
next. You know.
one, I don't think a ton of those had like home video releases.
No, they
And if
like
they
they did a
they
few.
weren't-
And, yeah, I did a whole video on it on those too because they're some of the rarest. They're actually rare and expensive Disney VHS.
Which is nuts because when those came out, those were cheap because they weren't like tentpole Disney movies. So like the home
Yeah.
video versions of those were really cheap, but they didn't do one for every release. Only some of the more popular ones, if I recall correctly.
There's one called Phantom of the Megaplex I really like. It has fucking Mickey Rooney in it.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
there's like it's a movie theater basically, and there's a guy who keeps sabotaging a movie premiere that's happening at it. And it's a Phantom of the Megaplex. It's not hard to explain, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But that's the cast of Final Destination 3. The whole theme park thing is pretty cool. I like the opening.
Yeah.
It's 2006, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I saw this, like, I think I was living in Mississippi and didn't have any friends and, like, was, just stayed at home on the weekends. Mom and Dad were gone. I was home alone. I probably just, like, threw this on. It was on Stars or HBO or something,
Okay, yeah.
Checked it out for the
That
first
makes
time.
sense. Yeah, because when did you move down there? Over the winter time?
Yeah, it was, like, December or something.
Okay.
Carrie says Under Wraps was my fave. And Under Wraps was the first, because they did Disney Channel original movies in the 80s, but they weren't called Disney Channel original movies until, I think Under Wraps was the first one they called that. But I actually think it was produced somewhat more independently. I can't remember exactly. There's a lot of lore behind this shit. But Under Wraps is one of the few movies that's not on Disney Plus, but they remade
okay.
it and remade it and a sequel to the remake, which are on there.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of people that started on those Disney Channel shows or Disney Channel originals, so
Oh yeah.
kind of interesting to go back and see how many of them like made it to major stardom after that and just how many of them still continued with the career.
Yeah.
Felt like if you're working for Disney, I felt like you had a pretty good shot in the industry.
Yeah. Rip David Lynch while we're talking about Disney actors, because without him we wouldn't have had Miley. And I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care about the Miley shows. I was a little too old for Hannah Montana, but
Yeah.
I do like some of her music. And as a person, she's pretty interesting, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, her dad blamed David Lynch and said David Lynch brought the devil into our house, and that's how we ended up with Hannah Montana,
That's awesome.
because he was in Mulholland Drive.
Well, I mean, that's a strange dude himself. So can you imagine growing up with that weirdo as your dad?
Oh yeah, he's having a full modern crash out these days.
Oh, yeah. He's fucking off the deep end. So,
Funny shit.
yeah. Final Destination 3. I don't recall having seen this before, but I love the setup of it. Even just the title cards, the intro slides where they're showing previous deaths from the other two movies, but like is that wireframing 3D animation style, I thought was really cool, really fun intro, calling back to some of the other movies. That was good.
Yeah.
They didn't put the Twin Towers in there, so I was a little disappointed by that, but
Yeah,
I guess those weren't movies. So,
for sure. Well, I mean, there's a couple movies about him. I was actually going through my DVDs and organizing them. I put all my 9/11 movies together.
oh, okay.
So, it's a little sidebar here again. I have 9/11, the French documentary by the French brothers. I guess it's not a French documentary, but the French brothers who were filming a firefighter documentary in New York City, and they like caught all this shit and chaos.
Yeah.
That's the best one. And then I have a VHS of that as well. But then I also have the Nicolas Cage and World Trade Center and Flight 93.
Nice.
Need to get a copy of Remember Me with Robert Pattinson. And there's a couple others. There was one Charlie Sheen was in with Whoopi Goldberg like 10 years ago.
Okay. Nice. Whoopi Goldberg. That's a character too.
Yeah.
Let's chat Final Destination 3 though. I mean, we got a couple of these to get through, so
Yeah.
this one's interesting because it references 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
like same universe, obviously, but it doesn't have any like character connections or anything. So
Yeah, nothing direct there. The accident itself is pretty fun and interesting. The initial flash and everything. I do like just the chaos of the roller coaster. All those disasters are usually pretty fun. The camera thing is a new addition to this movie, which I find interesting.
oh, her taking pictures and like having clues in there. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
like that. I thought that was good. You know what to me was interesting with the roller coaster thing is like they all like perished and died, but one of our local theme parks, Worlds of Fun, had a ride before they took it out called the Orient Express. And near the later part of the run of its life, it derailed partially and left people hanging for hours while they had to get crews out there to rescue everybody.
Yeah.
Obviously, no fatalities in that instance, but pretty interesting to hear about that. I remember hearing about that on the news because, you know, I'd rid that ride, been on that ride a million times, and luckily I wasn't there when it derailed. So
Yeah.
pretty fascinating to see that. You know, I mean, that would, if people are already scared of roller coasters and then that kind of stuff happens, and yeah, they're going to be they're a little freaked out by it.
Yeah. Shit, I need to look up this movie so I can talk about the kills and plots in order.
There are some good kills in that though. I think
Is the tanning bed the first one?
the dual tanning bed kills. Yeah, I think so.
So that's fun. Very iconic scene too because of the music. Love Roller Coaster by the Ohio Players. Which itself, there was an urban legend around the release and throughout the early times before the internet, and even the early times of the internet is where I heard this, but that there's a woman screaming on the record, but to me it just sounds like it's because she's on a roller coaster, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty low in the mix, but people have said like, oh no, that's a woman getting murdered in the studio, and it's the cover model because her skin was ruined from the like honey that she's dripping all over her body. I actually have a copy of it on vinyl. It's a pretty sick cover, but it's not true, but
Good, like urban legend out there from it.
yeah, pretty fun. So it's kind of like cool to have that urban legendy song in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clever use of some of these things in there, right?
Well, like if you don't know that, you know, it may not be, but that's a creepy song to me now because I know that lore and I associate it with this movie.
Yeah,
Like it's not an inherently creepy song, but it like to me I hear it and I'm disturbed. For sure.
yeah, I could see that being it. Obviously, they had to up the ante in this. That tanning room scene was so silly.
Yeah, it's fun though. You get all those classic things of like the dude being locked out. You slowly see the suntan lotion squeezing out or whatever of the bottle and
With the two blocking the doorway and everything. Yeah.
the wood that goes down in there. So I did a video on my channel. That's actually the most popular video on my channel now at 38,000 views. It's still climbing. Talking about the Final Destination 3 DVD feature, Choose Their Fate.
Oh yeah.
So it has flipped their coins, and in this scene, basically one of them gets, if you in the alternate cut of it, one of them almost gets out of there,
Oh, okay.
and then she's like trying to free the other one, and they both get electrocuted together.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So they still die. It's just a different death. It's kind of like a, to me, that DVD feature can be summed up as just a very clever use of deleted
Alternate
scenes.
takes.
And, yeah, exactly. Alternate takes and.
That is fascinating because, you know, Netflix has done some of that now, and there's lots of choose your adventure stories. Like, I remember the first time I ever got into that was the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure, which was about a theme park, if I recall correctly.
There's a couple of them that they did, but yeah.
Yeah, but the very first one they did that was a choose your own adventure, like everyone was like making such a big deal out of it. It was like, if you make this decision, go to this page.
Well, that's kind of what apparently everybody's into with Until Dawn, which is funny because that has a movie coming out the same year as Final Destination coming back. But I had some other point, but it escaped me. But
Yeah.
either way, tanning bed kill is pretty fun. It's messed up. It makes you obviously not want to use tanning beds anyway. But
I mean, I don't like fucking melanoma, so that's not
Yeah.
in my thing, and I'm fucking pale anyway, so all I do is freckle and burn and peel, so
yeah,
I'm good on the tanning beds, but I guess some people can do it.
yeah.
The drive-through scene was the next kill set.
Oh yeah, which is also great. I really like the song that plays during this one. There is someone walking behind you. Turn around, look away. That whole bit. That's a dope song anyway, and also really creepy.
Yeah, I would say the use of music in this one's pretty good because it's not like just over the top and in your face
Yeah.
in like annoying ways. It's like some clever music in there, some stuff to your point, like the first song that has a whole lore to it outside of the movie. And then this song works really well for the scene to kind of set an eerie vibe.
And again, I've mentioned it every time, but I think the use of music in these movies is really cool because last time it was Highway to Hell, and then number one it was the Rocky Mountain High that was used 3 times throughout, and then there was a cover version of that in the credits for Final Destination 2. Cool stuff.
Except for number 4, because I didn't give a fuck about the music in number 4.
Which is interesting. I will have something to say about 5 when we talk about that, but
Okay.
um,
So the
yeah.
drive-through death, which is interesting because how many times has he survived death? Kevin and Wendy seem to survive death a lot in this movie. And even though that would be breaking the cycle, because they barely get out of there when they get backed into, then that truck goes rolling down the hill, which is intense. So
yeah, I don't know. It is something to consider for sure.
yeah.
It's one of those things I never really thought too much about because I'm too interested in what's happening because that fucking causes the engine, fucking comes out and kills the man.
Yeah.
That fucking rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, the impalement there was pretty cool. What did head explode, I think? And that was the other guy. Oh, the weight machine though was my favorite fucking kill in here at the gym.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, just that fucking just reminded me of a Gallagher gag. Smashing the watermelon, spat everywhere. That is one thing that this has done is like the kills get more gratuitous and gory as they go on, but they're usually very fast. So like if you're into body horror and scared by that, they usually happen so fast you're not like have time to be really freaked out by them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're able to like take him in for what they are. Like his head getting smashed happened so fast, there's just blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that stuff's fun. It's like a little unrealistic. Maybe it wouldn't completely obliterate his skull or anything. It'd probably still kill the guy, but for a horror movie, we don't want to see what it would realistically look like. That'd be horrifying in not a fun way, in a existential way, and that's not what these movies are about. Slashers are not necessarily about existentialism, at least not the bulk and majority of them. I'm sure there's been some that are, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah.
And then there's Ian and Aaron working at the hardware store
Mm-hmm.
with the forklift, and she basically gets shot a bunch up with a nail gun, which is fun.
Yeah, that was a good one. But the fact that they repeated the nail gun in 4 was fucking annoying. Thought they could have done better.
See, I can't remember that even because
Yeah.
I've only seen that one once. I did just get recently for $12 off Amazon a 5-pack of these on Blu-ray because I had it on DVD, like all 5, but
Oh, okay.
it was like $12 on Amazon. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll pick that up because they're not even available on 4K.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the CGI in these didn't age well, but like,
Well, I think the CGI looks the worst in 4 and 5, to be honest, but it's because they're trying to do that 3D shit.
yes, I was gonna say in 4, the 3D stuff is like so in your face that it just doesn't look realistic. It looks too heavily rendered
Yeah.
or not polished enough. But like, it's all the 3D scenes that are coming at you, so you're like, okay. Um,
100%.
when they get on that same subway train at the end of the movie,
Well,
as
wait.
the train's about to crash. in
Before
3.
that, yeah, before we get there,
Oh, the impalement there. That's right.
who they go to that little thing, and basically, what's his face? Ian shows up, and he's like, decided to kill them. You know what I mean? Or at least kill
Yeah.
Wendy.
Well, yeah, he's at the point where he's like, okay, we've got to do something here so we can skip everyone else.
Yeah. That's very fun and interesting, and it goes places in the 5th movie where they try to start killing each other, which is interesting. We'll get there, but
Okay.
yeah, the subway train. What were we going to say about that?
Oh, the subway train, like the ending here. You know, they kind of have the premonition that the train's going to crash, killing everyone, and then they panic there, and then movie's over.
Yeah.
That is one thing I wish they'd be a little more consistent with, is just show them all dying at the end. Like, you're already there. Like, you don't need to cut to black. Just give me one last final death and roll credits.
Mm-hmm.
But with the premonition, they imply it, so like they don't necessarily need to show it all again, though, which is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Is, you know, you have the premonition sequences. Some of them are short, some of them are fast, and I think 3 does a good job of it. I mean, I liked 3 more than 2, but I still like the original the most.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There's just something nostalgic, soft spot for 3 for me. It's my favorite, but 4, I guess we can briefly talk about. Let me pull up the Wikipedia for that at least, so I can jog my memory on that one.
yeah, I can run you through that. I mean, 4, they'd taken a couple of years off, so by now it's 2009. I guess only 3 years. So 3 years off. Obviously, this one's like a NASCAR one, and I was like, okay, I've been to a NASCAR race. I kind of know what this is all about, but it's so hokey because like the wood seat splits, and then you see the concrete start to stutter, and it's just like, I'm already bored with that. It just doesn't feel original or exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people fucking die at NASCAR all the time. Like, they even have the whole character's personality built on wanting to go because, you know, there's wrecks.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's usually the people in the stands that die. So, and then the fact that another pet peeve, like NASCAR is really fucking obnoxiously loud.
Yeah.
And they make a joke about the kid's mom putting the tampon in the ears. You're like, okay, that's all cutesy and fun, but it's so fucking loud you can't talk to the people around you very well unless the cars aren't going by. So like
Right.
if there's cars passing you at all, it's so obnoxious. You can't say shit. So like I'm already way out of reality there because like at least have the fucking background mix up in the sound just to kind of make that vibe. Like I don't feel like I'm at a NASCAR race at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not proud to say I went to one, but we got free tickets and we dressed like white trash and went. So we went incognito.
So I am noticing that in universe, the speedway is called McKinley Speedway. They go to McKinley High School, and Ian is Ian McKinley in Final Destination 3 as well. So
Okay. So a little carry through over there.
a little connection, same spot, same part of town, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm trying to think like the premonitions in this one are weird because he has these fast little premonitions and he's trying to piece the clues together.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of like 3D. Every time he has like this premonition, like there's like a 3D tag involved with like cueing the audience of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then they like, oh, like we have a racist guy that is at the race. And like there's a mechanic and all these other like just fucking cliche things in there, which normally wouldn't bother me, but I just like I was trying to enjoy the death sequences in this movie, but they weren't super exciting. Like the tow truck death was almost interesting, but he's like being dragged along the cement and just catches fire. Like, come on, you guys could have done something better than that. Like, he should have gotten stuck and gotten ripped in half by the tow truck instead of him catching on fire. I'm like, how did you make a tow truck death about someone catching on fire? Like, what are you doing? Where's your imagination here? I was disappointed. I was like, that's, being a tow truck driver, that guy should have just fucking died on the side of the highway where like real tow truck drivers go. Like if you
Yeah.
want to make those deaths that are scary like real life, which is why the plane crash is scary, which is why the roller coaster is scary. Things that could really happen. To my knowledge, I do not believe that we've ever had a NASCAR car go off road and kill a ton of people in the crowd. And I'm not a huge NASCAR guy, so I don't know if that's true or false, but like I get that they're running short on ideas here. So
Yeah.
trying to think if there's any other deaths in there that I enjoyed.
I can't even remember any, so I'm relying on you.
Yeah. So we get a couple of deaths, and this is kind of like one of the most long drawn out ones is the one of the gals goes to the hair salon. Like she had 2 kids that survived the race, and they call the guy a hero, or they run into him at a memorial service, and so she's going into a hair salon to get her hair done for girls' night out. Her kids are being assholes, throwing rocks at some guy that's mowing a yard, smoking a cigarette. It kind of matches the premonition.
It's okay, baby. Sorry, he's
And then
just
we-
yelling.
You're good, man. And they do this whole long fucking drag out scene where this lady gets her hair done. She's getting her toes like worked on, and they show like the nail technician like using his knife blades on her toes, which is kind of gross anyway, just because it's feet, and I'm not
Knives.
Quentin Tarantino, so I don't really fucking have a foot fetish by any means. And then there's like scissors, so you think, oh, she's gonna die by the hairstylist scissors. No, after all this shit goes wrong in the salon, and you think she's gonna die, and you think she's gonna die. This is like the apartment scene in the original, where it just drags out.
The second one.
Or yeah, second, where it just drags out.
I think that one's
And-
great though.
It is, but this one is so fucking underwhelming at the end, because at the end, the guy is mowing, and the rock hits her in the eye and kills her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? A fucking rock kills her from I've been hit by rocks from mowing or weed eating. It didn't fucking kill me.
Hmm.
And I'd imagine that would just be an eye injury. So I was like, you gave me all that just to have like an eye injury.
Hmm.
Whereas in number 2, when they did that, you get at least the fucking satisfaction of that ladder coming down and destroying that fucking head like a melon. Again, Gallagher style. Like, just smash it.
Well, it's funny because this has the same director as 2. He returned from Final Destination 2.
Interesting.
Didn't do 1 or 3.
Well, then we have this whole movie theater thing. Oh, the other kill in this one that was interesting was the butt suck. The guy goes down to save his lucky quarter or some shit in the pool.
Sure he does.
Yeah, and then he gets his asshole stuck onto the pump, and eventually, like, the machine overheats and sucks his asshole out. You don't see that. You just see the blood spray, so you don't see the intestines get ripped out of his ass, which I guess they probably had to do for a ratings thing. But I'm like, if you're going to do that, you may as well throw the intestines everywhere, because you're literally sucking the insides out of somebody.
Right.
There was the car wash kill there that was kind of going along at the same time, but they stopped that when they ran the car into it, and kind of stopped it temporarily. So
I'm looking at the soundtrack for this, and it says, "Why Can't We Be Friends by War" is in it, so...
yeah, that was the only good song that I kind of liked in there. I'm glad they didn't do the fucking Smash Mouth version.
Oh, yeah, I have that War album on vinyl. I'm a big fan, so...
Yeah, that's a good band. So then we get this whole mall scene where he has the premonition of the girls dying in a movie theater explosion with a nail gun, and he goes in there and gets shot with, guess what, a nail gun. And then he's able to light the sprinklers on there and stop himself from blowing up. So, and then they're celebrating at the end. And then they all die at the end because they have a loose scaffolding that rolls by that falls over that the guy says something about, instead of just helping the guy out and raising the pin on scaffolding, which was loose. So you literally would have spent 10 seconds spinning that thing up to position to lock that scaffold in place. He tells the guy to do it instead of helping him out. And had he taken the time to help that dude, he wouldn't have died, because that wouldn't have fallen and then the car wouldn't have swerved into the cafe. So, very gimmicky though. Like the 3D movies of the time, 3D movies were all the rage during this era. 3D TVs were a thing. So after the theatrical release, people were hitting 3D TVs at home to watch these with. And I feel like they just kind of, even though it took 3 years between 3 and 4, it just felt like this was rushed. It didn't feel like it was very fresh or creative at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought if you're going to try to kill people in a movie theater, I thought Last Action Hero did it better. But that's me.
Well,
but yeah, tell me about 5, because I didn't get to watch 5.
I'm gonna have to tell you about damn near everything in it except the ending, because the ending's worth seeing for the first time and realizing what's happening. Unless I've already told you what happens.
I don't believe you have. It was interesting that they went the titling sequence, right? Final Destination 1, 2, 3, The Final Destination, Final Destination 5, and then now we're doing subtitling. So
Yeah.
it's like the fucking Saw movies. Like they've kind of done that. And you're like, okay, guys, figure out what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
They're really just following Hollywood trends for at the time. So,
Well, it's like how the Chucky movies are not Child's Play movies anymore, and how Nightmare on Elm Street had, Freddy's dead, and then the Jason movies even stopped being called Friday the 13th and were called, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X.
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
So Final Destination 5 is about a paper company on a company retreat on a bridge collapsing due to high winds that's under construction. It kills everyone except his ex-girlfriend, who he manages to get across the bridge safely. But he dies, and then he wakes up, and has, oh my god, we're all going to die at that moment, and shit.
Yeah.
Gets some of his colleagues off of there, like a good little amount that'd be fun to kill off.
Yeah, you got to have a
Right.
decent number of kills to have later.
Yeah, so the first one to die is his best friend's girlfriend, Candace, who dies in a freak accident during gymnastic practice. And it is fucking solid. This is one of
Wait.
the most anxiety-inducing ones.
Okay, but just out of curiosity, how the fuck's she doing gymnastics practice if she's working for this company retreat? Was she like someone's girlfriend or tag along?
Well, this company retreat is like, I'm assuming a lot of these people are just like working there while they're in college. Like the
Okay.
main character, he works at this company also, but he's like trying to become a cook too. So like at night
Okay.
he's like doing fancy cook chef shit.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, carry on.
So she's in school. It's like literally her last practice for college. Like that's how old these people are, I guess. And she's like doing all this stuff in this gymnastics room, right? And so there's like the AC isn't working, so they plug in a fan, and there's water dripping. The fan has an exposed electrical cable. There's a screw that falls out of the AC and onto one of those things where all the girls are standing on and like, doing like tumbling on and shit. Like
Okay,
the pink
yeah.
Power Ranger in the intro for Power Rangers and shit.
Tumbling mats. Yeah.
Not the mats, like the bar thing that they stand on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And anyway, she ends up on the bar that she's like swinging on and shit with her hands, And then another girl steps on the screw that's on the thing that she's dancing on. And then like accidentally spills into this dust that's like there for them to put chalk on their hands, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And it goes into her eyes, and she flies off of it because she's like, oh my god, my eyes, while she's twirling around the pole. And then like lands on her neck, and her back snaps in half, basically.
Okay, so not necessarily like a gory, bloody death, but a good body horror death. For anyone that
It
doesn't
is a
like
little
body horror.
bloody though. Like it's
Okay.
like bones exposed and shit for a
Okay,
minute.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little blood sport,
Yeah.
blood sport action mixed with just some like body horror. Okay, I can dig it.
Then there's this guy who goes to a massage parlor, and he's a creep.
Uh-oh.
You know, he's like trying to get them to jerk him off and shit, and making hints about it.
Okay.
And he stole the massage from one of the people who actually did die in the bus, like from one of their desks. He's one of their coworkers, so like he
Nice.
found a massage coupon on their desk after they were all dead, you know.
Yeah.
And so he goes there, and they're basically dicks to him. They're like fucking cracking the shit out of him, and he's in a room with like a bunch of candles, and then this lady's coming in there and is like about to do acupuncture to him since he was a dickhead. So then they're
nice.
putting all the needles in this motherfucker. And then I think one of the candles like falls and the room catches on fire, and then he like is like shit, trying to get attention because the lady left the room, and he falls off the thing and pushes a bunch of needles into him. And then he's still alive because obviously that's not going to necessarily kill you.
Yeah.
And then a Buddha statue, I think, falls on him and kills him.
That's ironic. A Buddha
Yeah.
statue. I can like that.
So then they go and see, you know, Tony Todd, and Tony Todd's basically like, it's pretty interesting. Survive, you can kill someone else to claim their lifespan. So that becomes like a thing now.
Yeah, so does that buy the amount of time they had left? Like if someone was
Yes.
supposed to die, so
supposed
you
to.
don't you may only get a couple of days.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
like if that person was supposed to die, you might get a couple minutes.
Okay.
So, Yoshi, don't step on the keyboard, please. Thank you. Olivia is this woman, and she goes to get laser eye surgery. This scene's fucked up too, man. Just
Oh yeah, this sounds fascinating right there.
it's like it's going normal at first and stuff, and then it just starts like they leave, I think, and leave it programmed to do its thing, and it just starts like slowly just burning the fuck out of her eye and like going to the side of her face, and she's like trying to wiggle, but then it's just like burning the rest of her face and wherever the laser goes, you know.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember how that ends. I must have been looking away. It's been a minute since I've seen it, but that she fell off. Oh, that's right. She fell off a building after
oh
that.
damn.
Yeah.
Okay. That's legit. Yeah, I'll have to watch that. And I have every intention to because I want to see that before I see the new one. So Tony Todd is not in 4 at all? Not even a cameo? Is that
Oh.
correct?
Yeah, I think so.
No wonder it fucking sucks so bad. Like, how do you take such an important role out of that movie? Now, granted, in 3, he only does the voice of the devil coaster.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, come on, people. Why wouldn't you have him in there?
So, as we were talking about before, the lifespan thing, they're at the paper factory, essentially. One of the dudes accidentally kills one of his coworkers during an argument in this factory setting, and he relays this information to the other 2 survivors, or 3 or 4, however many they are at that point. And they think that he basically claimed that guy's lifespan. And then Dennis, who's their boss, I think, right? Dennis is the, what's his face? Is that how he's killed? Yeah, David Keckner.
Yeah.
David Keckner is Dennis. So
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
he gets killed by a wrench launched by a belt sander, splitting his face.
Okay.
Basically what happens is the guy whose girlfriend died during gymnastics, he goes up crazy, and he's like he's like chasing around his ex-friend and his girlfriend, trying to kill them to claim their lives.
So they're just out here fucking going nuts trying to kill each other.
Yeah, pretty much. And then later at a bar in Roy's memorial. Roy, the guy who Nathan accidentally killed, I guess. And they were like, "Oh, you must have, claimed his life." They learned that he had an undiagnosed brain aneurysm, then he would have died soon regardless. As Nathan leaves,
Oh,
debris
okay.
from
So,
a plane crash kills him.
no shit.
Yeah. And then there is also sort of a twist in that ending there that I don't want to spoil for you. That'll be at least one part of the movie that you can enjoy. But it's pretty cool. Connects it to other movies and stuff, and you're like, oh, I like that.
All right. So, debris from the plane crash. I'm assuming that is debris from the original movie. So this coincides with the original then.
Something like that.
Okay. That's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, this one sounds much better than 4 just by plot points alone. Like just reading the Wikipedia, it sounds much better. And then obviously your descriptions helped a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a fun franchise, man. It's not perfect by any means. It's silly. I'm glad they're not overdoing it, right? Because we're really only hitting number 6, and this franchise has been going on for 25 years now. So, like, think about how many bad movies they could have done and they kept doing them every 2 to 3 years, like Saw.
Yeah.
Like fucking Saw, man. Like, I can't believe they're still doing Saw.
Yeah, I think they canceled Saw X though, or at least postponed it temporarily. Or the next Saw 11, whatever the fuck they're on, because they did X already, I guess. I haven't seen the last couple of those, but
Yeah, so Carrie said the end credits for 5's awesome.
let me see here. I had it going. But I don't think that's my style of music necessarily. I don't know. Well, let me see here. What do we got on the soundtrack? Oh, I was gonna say there is one piece of song that's in there. One piece of music. "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas has a little piece in this one.
I see that on there.
"Everclear," "I Will Buy You a New Life."
That's such a 90s song. That's interesting they used that this late.
But because this movie takes place then.
You're right. That is pretty clever there for that. That does add up.
Well, that's the thing is you don't even notice that this is supposed to take place then because this came out in 2011. So people are using cell phones in this movie, but they're like flip phones and not iPhones, but it's kind of like still in the realm where that's believable. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
in
because
2011.
2011, what were they on? The iPhone 3G or iPhone 4 around then, maybe? So there's plenty of people that still hadn't upgraded to a iPhone or Android at that point, and BlackBerry was still struggling.
Right.
Yeah, so I buy that because shit, I mean, I feel like flip phones were still fairly relevant for a decent population of people until 2015, damn near at least.
Right. Yusuf, we have not seen the new Final Destination yet. We're talking about these next week. We're probably going to be trying to review that. So, comes out this Thursday, I believe. For Friday, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the game plan, is to see the new one, so we're ready to, chat about it next week. But before now, tonight we covered 3, 4, and 5, which I saw 3 and 4. Obviously, 3 was my favorite of the 2 that I watched, and you did 3 and 5.
Yeah.
You said 4 you just don't dig.
I need to watch it again just so I can be a little more familiar with it, but
I mean, it's not terrible, but like I said, with some of the ways they set up things in that movie, it's just so far removed from reality.
dude.
And granted, it's at least the main kill. Like the main way you're avoiding death, I feel like a lot of those are pretty grounded in some sort of something that could really happen to you. Like I said, a plane crash, a roller coaster derailing. These things are all things that could happen to you in real life.
Holy shit. Be careful. I'm on the Final Destination Bloodlines Wikipedia, and the whole plot is on there already.
Oh.
And I'm not
Yeah,
going to read
probably.
the cast either because it'll probably reveal some shit also. Let's see here. Though I wanted to say that the director is named Zach Lipovsky.
Uh-huh.
We were talking Disney Channel original movies earlier. This guy used to be an actor, apparently, and he was in the movie I said that I had on VHS that's worth like $70. Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
All right, so it's all full circle, man. You already knew
All
what
of
you're
it.
doing there, so it's full circle. We weren't really that far off. We were just having a conversation
Nope.
about people's other work.
He also directed
Dig it.
Leprechaun Origins in 2014.
Very cool.
Interesting. Let's see. Written by Guy Busick, who I know that guy's name. What did he do? Scream. Okay, he's part of Scream. Is he part of that? What's that? What do they call those guys?
Mm-hmm.
He did Ready or Not, Scream 5, Scream 6, Abigail.
Okay.
Or at least he wrote part of those. And it's interesting. He has a credit for Scream 7 too. I thought those guys weren't involved at all, but maybe it's the directors that are involved, not the writer. Oh, that's interesting because they was in. Okay, yeah. So Matt Open and Tyler Gillette are the directors, and Guy Busick's one of the writers. I see.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Well, yeah, I'm stoked to see that one though. It looks pretty good, and we haven't had one of these movies in 14 years. And it's supposed to be pretty extensive and changing things up quite a bit, so
If you're gonna come back and do one after this long, you've got to do it a little fresh, right? You got to have something worth doing.
I think the title Bloodlines is actually going to be relevant and cool in this movie for once. Because we've had what? They did Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, there's a Hellraiser Bloodlines.
Yeah, and I mean the Bloodlines is the assumption is that it's in the same family tree somehow, right?
Right.
There's just some familial
But with this,
connection.
it's clear that it's referencing like some sort of event that happened in the past that like, it's going to trickle down. Like all of those bloodlines shouldn't exist essentially.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna
That's the
kill
way
them off.
that's the way
That's
I'm seeing it.
fascinating. Yeah.
Because in the
That's-
trailers, one of the accident that they show in the trailer looks like it happens in like 60s. But then the rest of the movie looks modern, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some flashback scenes and things like that. And to your point, I pulled up the wiki and yeah, someone's got the whole plot in there. I'm assuming it's all there, but you can scroll down past that and get to, the cast information. So
I didn't want to see the cast information because it might reveal people's names and other shit too much too.
yeah, I mean that's spoiler culture sucks.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's on Wikipedia. It's like if you had gone to see, look at the Thunderbolts fucking cast
Mm-hmm.
ahead of time, you'd have been like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the character Sentry? I'm
Yeah.
caught up.
Yeah. Oh, that's who that is. Yeah, you would have known walking into the movie that that's what you're gonna see.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, Final Destinations, I mean, they're fun movies, but they're not amazing. Yeah, out of the 4 I've seen, I would rank them 1, 3, 2, 4, with 2 and 3 being a pretty close. That could potentially change between 2 and 3's ranking depending on the day.
Yeah, I think my ranking is, if we're just talking about personal favorites, it's going to be 3, 1, 2, 5, 4. And I really like all of them except 4. So
And you say 4, but when was the last time you saw 4?
I've seen it at least twice. Like the first time, it was absolutely forgettable to me. And the second time, I was like, oh, this is bad. I don't even like this.
Okay, that's fair. Yusuf asked if did they use the iPhone on Final Destination 2011, and
Not that I'm aware of. The
No.
one character who kept getting on his cell phone the whole time is the sleazy guy. And he, it's like a little black flip phone. So
okay,
it kind of looks like, it could be it's pretty vague, and he holds it in his hand in a certain way. I feel like I was trying to notice that this time around because that's like the big giveaway in the movie like this. So, but it looks like it could be a black Razor. It looks like it could be a black phone from 1998, and that's the kind of the time period they're going for is 2000. So,
Yeah, if you're going for early 2000s or right around the turn of the century, which is fun to say that because it makes us sound old as fuck, but it's the truth.
we were born in the 1900s.
Exactly. We were born before Google. What'd you do before Google? Encyclopedias, libraries. I was getting ready to look something up here. Oh, yeah. Blackberries. I wonder when those came out.
2005 or so, 4 even. I watched that movie about them.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. 1999 to 2016.
Oh. That might have just been bigger around 2004 or 5. Whenever they started doing... Well, I don't know. They peaked at some point, clearly, though.
Well, they peaked and everyone loved their they peaked until the iPhone was like, you don't need a keyboard, a QWERTY keyboard or a mechanical keyboard on a phone, which is what people loved about them because you could have the full keyboard to type with instead of having to hit your numeric keypad and cycle through. God damn, you remember how archaic texting was when you had to cycle through all your numeric?
But we got good at that shit, too.
Fuck yeah, we did. Like, you'd be like speed demoning through that now. And nowadays, I look at people that are still like poking away at the keyboard. I'm like, you not know about swipe texting? It's like all these changes that you do.
Yeah.
And shit, even the voice to text recognition is so fucking good now. Like, it's crazy.
I feel like that's fine to use if you're, like, around no one else. But if you're in public, like, fucking just type or something. I don't want to hear your weird shit. I hate, like, people be doing that all the time, and it's just like, you lazy, weird bastards. I like, for the most part, I don't know if people are using it anymore, I guess, but, like, Mom used to use it a lot, and I would always be like, what the fuck are you trying to say? This is gibberish.
Yeah, it's gotten way better than it used to be for people that never were skilled with that, but I think in part to AI and just better noise cancellation on those things, it's gotten better at transcripting what you're saying to it. I'm excited for Bloodlines. I haven't been watching all the trailers. I just saw that first trailer they put out.
With
Was
the
that
tattoo
last
shop
year?
one or whatever.
Yeah, that's the only one I've seen. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to limit my intake on this before I go in.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen the other trailer. At least they've done some in the last week or two that I haven't seen, and I'm trying to stay away from the rest of them. But I did see like some more hints at stuff that's going on and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah, those ones always seem to be the
spoily ones. Yeah,
the last ones to get you in the theater that just start giving everything away. And if you were unsure about the movie, I don't know why giving the movie away is going to make someone see it. Never understood that, but whatever.
yeah.
I mean, for us, like I like a movie like this that's kind of low key, low pressure for us where, Ghostbusters is our wheelhouse. Where something like this, we don't have to do detailed breakdowns of trailers. We can just enjoy them for what they are and just take it in.
I mean, this definitely is more my wheelhouse. I love these movies, these Final Destination ones. I'm surprised how like unexcited I am for it. Like I'll probably be way more excited when I'm in the theater and it's actually hitting me that I'm seeing another Final Destination movie, just because this was more my era for growing up with horror franchises. I was born in 91, so the first one came out when I was 9 years old, and that's like I did see it around then on home video. Or
Yeah.
2000, not 99, but I was 9 when it came out, so.
Yeah.
And then they just continue to come out through my kind of like upbringing there.
Yeah.
That was like this and Saw and stuff like that. And I don't love the Saw movies as much as I like these. I think the first one's a masterpiece, and after that, it's a little convoluted. And crazy.
Yeah, Saw was fascinating. Wasn't Saw 2 directed by somebody, the director's from Kansas City, and he did like a drive-through theme park horror?
I think
thing
it was
last year?
written by, not directed, but I'm not 100% on that
Okay,
either.
maybe that was the case. I thought it was written and directed by.
It could have been.
And to me, that made me interested about that. But yeah,
It's
to your
not a
point,
bad one. Like, they're not all terrible, but it's like the first one is genuinely, I feel like, a great fucking movie, and then like the second one, the third, fourth are like okay, and after that, I can't even remember the plot. It gets so convoluted and ridiculous.
yeah, Darren Lynn Bousman directed and wrote the second one. Or now Lee Wanell, I think, wrote the first one.
Yeah,
So
and starred in it.
I guess he's directed 4 of the Saw films. He did 2, 3, 4, and Spiral. So that's interesting. Yeah, he went to Shawnee Mission North and Overland Park. Went to Full Sail, which is fascinating. You know that someone could be. I used to hear a lot about people that went to Full Sail, but I didn't know too many people that like made mainstream careers out of it,
Right.
especially in the film industry.
Usually,
Feel
you're working in the film industry, maybe, but you're doing like post production or something else.
Yeah.
You're not the fucking director or
I feel
writer.
to break through as a director at a fucking theater chain level is pretty fucking difficult. So
For sure.
yeah, that's fascinating. He's somebody that you think could do a Final Destination movie though, if he's done 4 Saw movies. But I don't know.
Yeah, because Traps. It's kind of a similar vibe. Slasher. They're both slashers, but they're not at the same time. Like, I like that about them.
Well, yeah, death is unseen, you know, and like with Saw, it's the trap, so it's not necessarily people killing each other. It's like shit happening to them. So it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. Yeah, Bloodlines though, that should be a good view this weekend. I'm probably gonna have to try to sneak it in Friday afternoon.
I'm going to try to go Thursday night after work. We also got fucking Mission Impossible and Karate Kid coming out this month. The initial reviews of Karate Kid are coming out, and people are saying it sucks ass, though.
That's disappointing, but
Yeah. The thing is, I haven't even watched all of Cobra Kai. I'm minimally invested in these movies. I think the first one is super great. 2 and 3 are like, I like 2. 3,
Yeah.
I don't even really remember. The fourth one is kind of forgettable. At least it still had Miyagi. And then the series was good, but I only saw like the first season and a half.
yeah, well, and then they rebooted the movies, and so that's what they're combining Jackie Chan's character from that with
Which
this.
is fine.
And
That
like,
sounds cool and all, but
yeah, I think it's that to me. That's a unique idea. Like,
I think the
I don't know
criticism
why
of it is basically that it feels like it's just another remake, but with them both kind of being Miyagi-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Because to your point, yeah, I've seen like the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai, or I was watching season 2 as they were coming out.
Mhm.
Because Cobra Kai jumped around from streamers for a while. Like, didn't it end on Netflix? But when it first started coming out, it was like a weekly release thing. So
It was on YouTube originally. It was a YouTube original series when YouTube was getting into the streaming game too. They don't produce original content anymore like that. They were just like, well, people will continue to upload to our shit. We don't have to produce anything.
Yeah, we don't have to pay for it or put a brand on it. And I think that's
yeah.
why they let the whole series go to. I thought it went to 2 or 3 places and like almost died a few times. I haven't
mean,
read about
it could have. I just know that the first place it was YouTube, the first season.
Yeah. Yeah, but I never finished that. I'm interested to finish it, but at the same time, I'm just like, that's the other thing this movie's up against is you're coming off of a fairly long running TV series, right? With some pretty heavy story arcs and characters for LaRusso's character and, you know, even some of his villains and, you know, the
Yeah.
new generation cast they have in there. And then you're going to go make another movie where you combine worlds. It's like, someone's like, hey, what if? And they're like, oh, that'd be neat. And they're like, hey, let's actually do that. So, and I also heard it's a very short movie. Somebody said the runtime on that was like,
Or like 94 minutes or something, I think.
yeah, like well under 2 hours, which isn't a bad deal. But, I mean, I guess if I just wondered, do you need to have seen both of those movies before going into this one? to
Full
see where Lewis
disclosure,
is at?
I'm more interested in Mission Impossible anyway, just because those movies have gotten so crazy.
the fucking fact that Tom Cruise does all those stunts, man, that dude is a fucking lunatic.
Tom Cruise being in these action movies, it's just like, yeah, I kind of don't necessarily like Tom Cruise as a person, but these movies are like fucking candy for filmmakers and people who appreciate that kind of shit. So,
Well, the fact that they shoot so much of this shit in camera and there's so many practical stunts in there.
so I'm saying like the last Top Gun, all
Force.
that, like it's,
Yeah.
I hate military propaganda, but also you're shooting in actual airplanes. I like that.
Yeah, to me, that's fascinating. That was the number one reason I wanted to see it because I was like, look, you saw what they did with the original. Imagine what new film technology could look like now. And obviously, you saw the end result. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out this summer, man. So,
And I keep hearing about new things too, which is good. That's what I wanted this year because at the beginning I was like not too impressed with what I was looking at.
have you heard much about Clown in a Cornfield or whatever that is?
No, I know it's based on a book because I've heard of the book.
Yeah,
the
I've heard a
book-
lot of people talking about it. And some people are really hyped up about it, but
The book has the same like the clown in the cornfield logo looks like the Stranger Things logo. So I'm sure it's kind of giving off
Oh,
that sort of
okay.
Spielbergian 80s horror like
Okay.
vibes.
yeah, I think I'll probably wait and watch that one at home. But
Yeah, I'm
Only
not
time will
super
tell.
interested. I mean, I think Tatum's read the book and might be interested. So who knows? I could end up seeing it, but I think it's been out for like a week now or something, hasn't it?
yeah, I think it came out a week or two ago. So, well, I think that's pretty much it for the show tonight. And then, yeah, next week we'll come back and talk Bloodlines, wrap up the Final Destination chat. Appreciate everyone who joined us and tuned in and chatted up. Thanks for watching and spending your evening with us.
Yep. It's time to go
Beyond
feed
that.
these kitties. They are like,
Ready to take out the microphone.
yeah, Yoshi's pissed.
Yeah,
He
he's
always
like-
eats at his dinner this late, so every 12 hours he eats basically.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back at it.
good night, everybody.